pregnant!" my sister screamed in joy at my wedding reception. "What?" I asked numbly as my younger sister once again stole the spotlight. Today was supposed to be my day with my new husband, Crowley. Crowley squeezed my hand tightly as my sister Sabrina looked at me with disgust. My stomach churned in frustrated anger and sadness. "I'm pregnant," Sabrina repeated again, only this time super slow like I was an idiot. All of my friends were quiet at the situation they were witnessing. My parents, however, started clapping and crying. "We are going to be grandparents," they exclaimed excitedly. A tear slipped down my cheek when my mother turned to look at me with a frown. "Why are you crying? This is a good thing. Sheesh. Why can't you be more like your sister Natasha?" Crowley frowned heavily at my mother's words. Crowley spoke roughly in anger. "What is that supposed to mean?" My father scoffed at Crowley. "Natasha has always been a letdown, never getting good grades like Sabrina. I had graduated high school with a 3.9 GPA, while Sabrina had a 4.0. I was the only one of the two of us to go to college and graduate with a bachelor's degree in mathematics and with the highest GPA in over 120 years. Natasha doesn't want a family, not like our precious Sabrina," my mother continued where my father left off. I felt sick to my stomach. I ran to the trash can to throw up. My best friend came over to hold my hair back and rubbed my back in comfort. At those words, Crowley exploded in anger. "She can't have children, not that she doesn't want them." Tears fell faster as my father spoke. "We will never recognize an adopted baby as our grandchild. Sabrina is going to make sure it's actually a part of the family." All the guests gasped at those words. I trembled hard at my father's cruel words. My mind was spiraling with dark thoughts as I collapsed to the ground. Crowley rushed over to me and held me as he rocked us back and forth. My best friend walked slowly to Sabrina, who was smiling this whole time. My friend drew her hand back and punched Sabrina in the face. Sabrina collapsed like a sack of potatoes to the ground. My father and mother rushed over to her in a frenzy. "Is the baby okay? Are you okay? Natasha is just jealous of your good fortune. We are here for you, baby." I watched as my parents comforted Sabrina by making me feel as small as an ant. My grandparents stared wide-eyed at the trio before moving slightly to me. My grandma bends down and whispers in my ear, "Can I make a scene?" I turned to stare at her for a long moment before shrugging. "It already is," I whispered to her with a nod. Crowley helped me stand as Grandpa kept a hand on my shoulder. The whole reception moved to stand behind Crowley and myself with a silent statement. "We stand with Natasha," is what was clearly seen. My grandma smiles serenely at my father. "You know, it's funny that you bring up adoption." "And why is that?" my father asked, barely paying attention to his mom and my grandma. "Why, it's well known on my side of the family that females have trouble with fertility," she says, like she's talking about the weather. "I didn't know, but it doesn't change the fact that I could never see an adoptive child as my grandchild," my father repeats. Grandma waits till my father starts fussying over Sabrina before going for the knockout. "Guess I don't see you as my son then," Grandma states with a chilling smile. The reception goes dead silent as we all stare on. I was shocked. Crowley started smiling a bloodthirsty smile. "What are you talking about?" my father asks with a growl as my mother goes white in fear. "Why, sir? You are adopted, but I can't call you my son anymore. You have proven that to a senile old woman." My grandma went straight for the kill. My father freezes as all color fades from his face. "What?" my father stutters out. "Good thing you chose to be a nobody, so I can change my will to leave everything for Natasha." My grandma finished before walking over to me and hugging me tightly. Then a cousin came out of the bathroom with 3 different types of pregnancy tests. Why are all of these negative, and what are they? Sabrina goes white at being caught lying. All 3 leave the reception with a dust trail after them. "I love your grandma," Crowley whispered in my ear as we started dancing again. I rest my head on his chest as I whisper, "So do I."